Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you all about the active and passive voice. Now, before we begin the lesson, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you find this lesson useful. Now, let us begin. What is the active voice? An active voice means someone does an action to the noun. In sentences where we have the active voice, someone does an action to the noun. And as we know, a noun is a name of a person, a place, or a thing. So in a sentence where we have the active voice, someone does an action to a person, or to a place, or to a thing, like a table, a bike, a letter, cheese. All those are examples of things. On the other hand, we have the passive voice. In sentences where we have the passive voice, the noun receives the action. The noun receives the action from someone. Okay? Now, let us look at examples of the active voice. Let us look at examples in which we have the active voice, meaning sentences in which someone does an action to the noun. And the noun here could be the name of a person, it could be a person, could be a place, or it could be a thing. Now, example 1 on the left. Jack kicked the ball. Jack is the subject. Jack is the subject. Jack is the someone that is doing an action. So Jack is the subject, kicked is the verb, and the ball is the object. So Jack does an action. He does the action of kicking, and he does that to the ball, which is a noun because it is the name of a thing. Jack kicked the ball. Look at example 2. The dog beat the girl. The dog beat the girl. The dog is the subject, which is actively doing something to a noun, which is bite, and it is doing that action of biting to the girl. So in an active sentence, if you want to visualize that in your mind, someone is doing something, an action is taking place, there is some activity going on. The dog is biting the girl. So you always begin a sentence in the active voice with the subject. And the subject is that someone who is doing something. So you always begin the sentence with a subject, and then you follow it up with the verb, and you end it with the object. Look at example 2. We have the dog, subject, verb, object. The dog beat the girl. Look at example 3. Somebody stole my bike last week. Somebody is the subject. Stole is the verb. My bike is the object. So if you like, the definition of a sentence which has an active voice is a sentence in which someone does an action to the object. Okay? Someone does an action to the object. The first sentence, Jack is doing something to the ball. The second example, the dog is doing something to the girl. Example 3, somebody is doing something to the bike. Example 4, the Dutch eat a lot of cheese. So the Dutch are doing something to the cheese. So we have the subject, which is the Dutch. We have eat, which is a verb. And we have a lot of cheese, which is the object. So remember once more, in a sentence where you have the active voice, you begin with the subject. You follow it up with the verb. And you end with the object. Example 5. They have told the truth. They is the subject. Have told is the verb. And the truth is the object. Example 6. A parcel has been delivered. A parcel has been delivered. So here you do not know who delivered the parcel. All you know it is somebody. Somebody did it. A parcel has been delivered. So in that sentence, example 6, you have the subject, which is a parcel. You have has been delivered, which is the verb, but you don't have the object written there. It is an imaginary object. We all know who did it. It is somebody. We don't know their name. So this happens a lot sometimes with active sentences. You sometimes are not told what the object is if it's obvious. A parcel has been delivered. Number 7. The surgeon has operated her. So the surgeon is the subject, followed by has operated, which is the verb. Okay? And then we have her, which is the object. So before we continue, if I have to review that, I would say that in a sentence in which you have the active voice, someone is doing something to the object. Number 2, remember, in a sentence where you have the active voice, you begin with the subject, followed by the verb, and followed by the object. And the object is the one that is receiving the action. It could be the name of a person, it could be the name of an object, or even a place. It is a noun. Now, the other thing you have to be very careful about is the tense. If you look at the tense in the first sentence, look at the verb. The verb is kicked. So that is the past tense. Jack kicked the ball. It is very important that you pay attention to the tense of the verbs, because when you change the sentence from active to passive, then you have to do something to that verb. Okay? The dog beat the girl. Once more, that's the past tense. Somebody stole my bike last week. That's also the past tense. That's a simple past tense. The Dutch eat a lot of cheese. That is the present continuous tense. The Dutch eat a lot of cheese. So as we are talking now, the Dutch still are eating a lot of cheese. Okay? So the first sentence, the second sentence, and the third sentence are in the past tense. Simple past tense. Okay? But the fourth sentence is in the present continuous tense. The Dutch eat a lot of cheese. That is a fact. Okay? Then number 5. They have told the truth. They have told the truth. That is the past perfect tense. They have told the truth. It is the past perfect tense because you have the word have. Whenever you have the word have or has, instantly you know that is perfect. Perfect. It is the perfect because of have and has. And told is in the past tense. So we would say it is the past perfect tense. It is past because of the verb told, and it is perfect because of the word have. Past perfect tense. Number 6. A parcel has been delivered. A parcel has been delivered. That is in the past perfect tense. Past perfect tense because of has been delivered. Number 7. The surgeon has operated. So has operated once more is in the past perfect tense. It is very important, as I said, to pay attention to the tense of the verb in the active voice. Okay? Because when you change the sentence from the active to the passive voice, the verb also will change. Now, we move on to the passive voice. So in this case, the noun or the object receives the action. The verb or the object receives the action. In the active voice, someone is giving some action to the object. But in the passive voice, the noun or the object is receiving the action. It's passive. Now, I am simply going to change the sentences from active to passive. And I will change the sentences that we have on the left from the active voice to the passive voice. Example 1. Jack kicked the ball. The subject in that sentence, in that active voice, comes first. Number 2, followed by the verb. Number 3, followed by the object. But when you change that sentence from the active voice to the passive voice, something happens. You begin with the object, the ball, okay, followed by the verb. But in this case, you have to use a word that shows that an action is being done, that the object has received an action. Okay, you have to use a word, you have to change the verb in such a way that it is clear that the object received an action. So in this case, we say the ball was kicked by Jack. So in other words, you're simply reporting to someone. Imagine that you're reporting to someone. Someone says, Jack kicked the ball. And then someone asks you, what did Jack do to the ball? What happened to the ball? What happened to the ball? The ball was kicked by Jack. So this time we begin with object, followed by the verb, and we end with the subject. But next to the subject, we always add the word by. The ball was kicked by Jack. So to change a sentence from the active to the passive voice, you begin with the object, followed by the verb, followed by the subject. But before the subject, you put the word by. You put the word by. Number 2, the dog beat the girl. We begin with the object. So the girl, followed by the verb. And this time, the dog beat, it becomes was beaten because it has already happened. The dog beat the girl. What happened to the girl? The girl was beaten by the dog. Okay. Example 3. Somebody stole my bike. What happened to my bike? My bike was stolen by somebody. So you begin with my bike because it's the object, followed by was stolen because it has already happened. So we have to use was in front of stolen. And you finish the sentence, you end the sentence with a subject, which is by someone or somebody. Example 4. The Dutch eat a lot of cheese. Once more, we begin with the object, which is a lot of cheese, followed by the verb, which is eaten. Okay. The Dutch eat a lot of cheese. What happens to a lot of cheese? A lot of cheese is eaten by the Dutch. Is eaten, meaning that it is not in the past tense. It is always. It is eaten. They eat it all the time. And then you put by and you end with a subject, which is the Dutch. Example 5. They have told the truth. Once more, you begin the sentence, the passive sentence, with the truth, which is the object, and then have told becomes has been told. Okay, followed by them. But before that, you put they. You put by. Okay, the truth has been told by them. They have told the truth. So they becomes them. Number 6. A parcel has been delivered. You change that sentence to the passive and you begin with the object, which is somebody has delivered a parcel. A parcel has been delivered. So somebody has done it. So once more, you begin with a, even though in the active voice, the word somebody is not there, it is assumed that it is obvious that someone did it. So somebody has delivered a parcel. Okay, has been becomes has. Number 7, the surgeon has operated her. It becomes, okay, it becomes she. So her becomes she. She has been operated by the surgeon. You begin with the object, followed by the verb, the correct form of the verb, and you end with surgeon, but you put by. Now, to conclude this lesson, I will remind you that to change a sentence from the active to the passive, you have to pay special attention to a number of things. 1, change the sentence to passive by beginning with the object, followed by the verb, and you end the sentence with a subject. But if you're writing a sentence in the active voice, begin with the subject, followed by the verb, and end with the object. Number 2, pay special attention to the verbs, because the verbs change from the active voice to the passive voice. And most of the times, if the verb is in the past tense, as it is the case in example 1, 2, and 3, you change them to the past tense but you also use was in front of the verb. Okay, was kicked. Now, the third thing I will point out is when it's obvious that somebody did something, sometimes the object is left out, like in example 6. But when you change the sentence to the passive voice, then you're expected to write somebody. A parcel has been delivered. That's the active voice, example 6. But in the passive voice, it is somebody has delivered a parcel. Okay? And finally, I will remind you that the active voice, a sentence in the active voice means that somebody is doing something to the object. But a sentence in the passive voice means that the object is receiving the action. Now, I hope you find this lesson informative. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section. If you'd like me to do a follow-up lesson on the active and the passive voice, let me know in the comment section. Thank you very much, and bye-bye, and see you in our next lesson.